This week on ANN, the Adventist Church sets aside June 15 as World Refugee Sabbath.
We'll hear a story from Lebanon on how you can raise your voice to join ADRA's new advocacy campaign.
And we'll hear stories from Africa, Ecuador, and more about how the Adventist Church is bringing help to those in need.
These stories and more coming up.
Thank you so much for joining us this week.
First in the news, this coming Sabbath, June 15th, has been designated the Seventh-day Adventist Church's annual World Refugee Sabbath.
This day has been set aside to raise awareness of the needs of the more than 65 million people who have been displaced from their homes due to civil unrest and persecution.
Throughout today's program, we will share with you different projects the Adventist Church, through the Adventist Development and Relief Agency, or ADRA, and other Adventist humanitarian agencies are doing to help those in need.
We will also share stories of Adventists who volunteer their time to build hospitals in some of the largest refugee camps in the world.
We hope this day will serve as a reminder to individuals worldwide that every refugee is worthy of compassion.
More than 44,000 people are forced to flee conflict and persecution every day.
More than half of those people are children.
Statistics show there are more than 1 million Syrian refugees in Lebanon alone.
The ADRA Learning Center in Lebanon supports the education of more than 120 Syrian children every year.
The Learning Center provides a safe place for children to get an education.
ADRA advocates for the right of all children to attend school.
To join your voice with the thousands others who have already signed a petition to support ADRA's advocacy campaign, Every Child, Everywhere in School, visit adra.org/inschool.
Statistics said that we have almost more than 1 million Syrian refugees in Lebanon, and 60% of this number are women and children. They like school a lot. They like to come here. And they like to learn. For example, most of them, when you ask them what you want to do later on in your life, they have good ideas for the future. They don't think as before, I don't know, I will work, whatever. No, most of our children, they have purpose now for their lives. They know if they study more, they could get more in life, they could be more successful in life.
They really like it because we do everything we can to make it a happy place. Because here they're just studying and enjoying being students. They're not refugees. What's sad is that the kids are not just suffering because it's war. They're suffering because they are not treated like children. So people talk in front of them as if the kids do not understand. They mention problems, the death of someone, an explosion. And the child listens and understands and brings this to the learning center. And we have to live with it and teach him or her how to react to that piece of news. When they're older, they will know that at least during a big part of the day, they were considered children.
Education is the movement from darkness to light, and we would like to be part of this light to give a hope and future for the children. It is not only education, but we are creating an environment for the children to be loved, to be loving the education, and to feel that they are a very important part of the society.
There are more than 275,000 refugees from the Democratic Republic of the Congo in Uganda.
Hundreds of thousands of people have fled the DRC due to violence. Human rights violations are still widespread, including physical mutilation, killings, sexual violence, arbitrary arrest, and detention in inhumane conditions.
ADRA Uganda sent a story of a man who, after fleeing the DRC, is now trying to build a better life for him and his family. Thanks to ADRA Uganda, he says he has hope.
I left Congo after armed militias started violently harassing our villages and enforced unimaginable atrocities, especially to the men of the village. Most of the times, these armed militias would come to the villages and demand ransom for the men they have held as hostages. If the family couldn't come up with the money, the armed militias would kill their hostages. To protect myself and my family, I decided to travel alone to Uganda. By doing so, if I get ambushed in the bushes by the armed militias, at least it will only be me that would be harmed and not my family. I arrived safely in Uganda in 2014 and was resettled in Ramwanja refugee settlement. Because of the dangerous situations in Congo, it took me 4 years before I could see my family again. 4 years without seeing my beautiful wife and children was too much to bear. I desire to be with my family, see my children grow, and be with my wife. Then in 2018, I took the risk and brought my family to Uganda. With my family now in Uganda, my greatest challenge is to provide food for my young family. When I was living by myself, I could take care of myself, but now I have to make sure my family is taken care of. The United Nations World Food Program has been assisting us with food. However, that help was not enough to sustain my growing family for a month. So I moved out of the refugee settlement and took a job in another town 50 kilometers away from home. It was good working in that corn mill. It brought extra income for my family to supplement the food given by the UN World Food Program. However, my children got very sick, so I had to go back to the settlement and help with my sick children. I was devastated to be back in the settlement as I had an excellent job at the mill. I needed to find another trade to keep my family from getting hungry. So I started tilling the ground and started growing simple crops for home and sell to the fellow refugees. The small money I earned from selling my crops and vegetables, I started another business, making bricks out of mud and selling them to my fellow refugees. This was good business. It gave me extra income for my young family. One day, a friend informed me that ADRA was looking for volunteers to help with their World Food Program project, and so I went and applied for the volunteer job. ADRA took me in as a volunteer in charge of loading food in hard distribution operations and got a stipend of $4 for my duties. With my vegetable gardens and brick business providing complementary income to feed my family, the new income I receive from ADRA now gives me a room to dream. Not only can I buy small types of furniture for my little house, but now I can build a better house for my family. ADRA has not only given me a job, but has also given me a room to dream of building a better house. This house stands because of ADRA.
More than 3 million refugees and migrants from Venezuela are leaving their homes to escape violence, insecurity, and lack of food, medicine, and other essential services.
Many of these refugees are going into Ecuador and other neighboring countries.
ADRA Ecuador sent this report.
El trabajo que nosotros realizamos en sí es para poder proteger a los niños de cualquier suceso que pueda invalidar sus derechos o que los pueda guiar a situaciones negativas que vayan en contra de su protección. En este equipo trabajamos trabajadoras sociales, psicólogos, abogados y educadores para que todo este equipo multidisciplinario pueda apuntar hacia el objetivo de proteger a los niños, niñas y adolescentes que están en situación de tránsito.
¿Durante el viaje han tenido suficiente alimento para ti y para los bebés?
No, no lo suficiente.
¿Cuántos años tienen? 2. Cada noche. Lo mismo, ¿sí?
Coming up, Adventists in Europe created a documentary to show what their churches are doing to welcome refugees into their communities.
But up next, Adventist Help is building a new clinic in Uganda. Find out why they need you.
We may look, pray, read, think, worship, sing, and share differently, but we all look forward to the Sabbath. And we all look forward to the future when Jesus will come again. With this message in mind, we arrived at a core component for a new identity system, the creation grid, a simple 7-column structure for layout. The grid is a reference both to the prophetic timeline as well as to the creation week that culminated in the 7th-day Sabbath. Regardless of what or where you are designing, you can always find information to help you communicate that we are all Seventh-day Adventists.
Welcome back.
Adventist Help, a supporting ministry of the Seventh-day Adventist Church, works to build hospitals and emergency clinics in refugee camps around the world.
Now, along with the Adventist Development and Relief Agency in Uganda, Adventist Help is building a clinic to serve those who desperately need medical care.
Dr. Michael John von Horsten Hilda de Brando and Tiago Silva recently sent us this report about who they're serving, what the new hospital will look like, and why they need your help.
Welcome to Chakra Refugee Settlement. We're currently in Western Uganda at the building site for our new ADRA Adventist Health Field Hospital. We're currently about 70 kilometers east of the border of the Democratic Republic of Congo. Just for a bit of background, this region is a region that's plagued by the latest Ebola outbreak, the second worst Ebola outbreak in the history of Africa. It's also a region that's got some of the highest rates of ethnic violence on the continent of Africa, with militia groups moving from village to village, wreaking havoc, burning down villages, destroying properties, and murdering people, and using especially sexual violence as a mechanism of really damaging the population. And as a result, the infectious diseases burden, combined with the utter lawlessness of the region, has made the place quite unlivable. At the moment, they're facing a measles outbreak, they're facing a severe shortage of food, and as well as cholera outbreaks all over the region. So thousands of people are moving across the border into Western Uganda, into this region. And in fact, the Chakra refugee settlement is one of the main arrival points for refugees arriving from the Eastern DRC. These people have seen the face of hell. If you speak to the people living right around this camp, many of them have lost siblings. They're unaccompanied minors here who are living with their brothers and sisters, small kids. They're women who have lost their husbands, lost their children. Many of the population have been raped, including many of the children. An incredibly vulnerable community that we're dealing with at the moment, and we're here to reach out in the healthcare sector to provide services to this community.
With this project, we'll be providing primary health care. And that includes not only the doctors and the nurses, but we'll have also a dental service, we'll have physiotherapy service, we'll have x-ray that you cannot find anywhere else here in this settlement. We'll have a laboratory, we'll have ultrasound, we'll have an emergency room that will be providing medical services 24/7, and this is this is an important service for this settlement because they don't have an emergency service here. And this is only for the first phase. While we are almost finishing the first phase, it's planned to open in August. We are already preparing for the second phase. And for the end of this project, we hope to have a hospital with 100 beds, and with not only this service that I just mentioned, but also 3 wards where we have male, female, and pediatric. We'll have labor room, we'll have delivery room, and we'll have a theater with 2 operation rooms. And we hope with this project we'll be able to serve not only this community but also the host community around this settlement.
So you know that Adventist Help runs with volunteers only. We have a huge need of medical staff, from doctors, nurses, and even physiotherapists. We need volunteers. Please, if you feel touch in your heart, come to help us to make part of our team. To register as a volunteer, you can go to volunteers at adventisthelp.org. We need you. Please come.
Throughout today's program, we've shown you projects from different parts of the world that illustrate how Seventh-day Adventists are working to support refugees.
As we've said, Seventh-day Adventists will celebrate these stories on June 15, World Refugee Sabbath, the nearest Sabbath to the UN World Refugee Day, June 20.
From Europe, the celebration will include a documentary film with stories crossing Europe from Finland to Spain.
We will learn how a church in the UK runs an after-school club, giving children a boost, how a community center in Germany provides training skills and even forms a community choir, and how ADRA volunteers in Spain help refugees and migrants integrate into society.
This program will give hope. That is why the theme this year is hospitality, a reminder of grace and blessing.
To watch this documentary on Sabbath, June 15, visit adra.eu/refugees.
Coming up, Victoria Turrentine is here to tell us where you can go to create and find GIFs for your social media posts.
But up next, Adventist Mission has a story of a teenager educating her community on health.
May I work in with you, young fella?
Yeah. Go for it.
That's the way you do it. Got to put a little weight on it. Well, I'll put it back up here for you.
Welcome back.
A teenage girl is instrumental in educating villagers about health.
In India, programs set up by ADRA have been a huge benefit to the people.
Adventist Mission has more.
Shah Jahan is only a teenager, but that doesn't stop her from holding a crucial role in her village in northern India. Shah Jahan is accompanied by her friend and coworker Zimat. They're visiting a mother who just gave birth to a baby boy. Shah Jahan's work is much more than it seems. She's not just pouring 2 glasses of water, she's saving a life. She pours a few more ounces into both cups, representing the first of 3 immunizations in a local vaccination plan. The plan immunizes against diphtheria, whooping cough, tetanus, hepatitis B, and influenza. Shah Jahan and other women like her are community mobilization coordinators, known as CMCs. They work with the government of India and with humanitarian agencies like Adventist Development and Relief Agency, or ADRA. Their goal is to keep women and children protected against diseases common during pregnancy and infancy. CMCs use posters, demonstrations, one-on-one conversations, and women-only group meetings to ensure that all mothers have free and easy access to life-saving information and medical care. The water glass demonstration, for example, conveys the importance of vaccines to mothers who are skeptical, often because they're afraid of the fever that commonly accompanies vaccination. Such demonstrations are almost always successful at convincing the mothers. This grassroots approach to national health is the main reason India was declared polio-free in 2014.
It was our CMC's continuous effort. They mobilized the community, particularly they talk to the mothers and tell them the importance of the polio immunization. And also, we involve the whole community, like we work closely with the local influencers.
In a country of more than 1 billion people, fighting a contagious disease takes education, dedicated health workers, and concerned citizens like Shah Jahan and the men and women of ADRA. Your support of ADRA helps women and children around the world live healthier, happier lives.
Watch this and other mission stories online by visiting adventistmission.org. Then click on videos at the top.
Today, it seems that people are using GIFs in every social media post we see.
Victoria Turrentine is here to tell you how you can make your own GIF to use for your social media posts.
A GIF is a graphic interchange format that is both animated and a static image. These images are very popular in our society today. Mostly everyone around the world uses them on social media to express emotions. They are usually short scenes from popular TV shows and movies turned into short video snippets that expresses how we feel after we read a post. There are over 300 million daily active users using GIF to create eye-catching ads or connecting with their followers through moments from pop culture. You can now create your own GIF to post to your social media platforms. Just visit jiffy.com. That's GIPHY.com. You can create an account or click create at the top and upload your clip from YouTube or any website. There's a GIF for everything, and don't forget to tag us, Seventh-day Adventist Church, in your post. We hope to see those GIFs as you express yourself through our social media for the world to see. Stay blessed and stay safe.
And finally, for today's episode, let's turn to David Trum for a look at Adventist history.
This week, evangelism in London serves as a springboard for mission in Britain.
Welcome to This Week in Adventist History. On June 9, 1888, the first Adventist baptism in London took place after Stephen N. Haskell had conducted almost a year of evangelistic meetings in the city. Adventist work in Britain in the preceding 10 years had largely focused on the large port city of Southampton on the south coast and the area around the port town of Grimsby in the northeast of the country. Haskell wisely moved the headquarters of the British mission from the northern town of Grimsby to London, the British capital. Recognizing that success in Britain could prove a springboard for mission throughout the vast British Empire, the church sent more money and missionaries to Britain. Missionaries who served in London in the late 1880s and early 1890s included senior figures like Doris A. Robinson and Elliot J. Waggoner, and also the young William Spicer, later a GC president. This photograph shows Robinson and Spicer and a number of women missionaries, several of whom were Bible workers, including Jenny Thayer, plus one nurse, Georgina Harper, who you see in front of Spicer. Georgina and Spicer married in April 1890. And pictured here, you see the staff of the International Tract Society, the British Adventist Publishing House, in London in 1893. This photograph includes E.J. Waggoner, along with Robinson and Spicer. The investment of talent and finances in Britain paid off. By the 1920s, British Adventist missionaries were serving in the West Indies and across Africa and Asia. And on June 9, 1965, Suleiman Ali Pax was baptized in Antananarivo on the island nation of Madagascar after many years of Bible study. He was the first Seventh-day Adventist on the French-ruled Indian Ocean island of Mayotte. The Indian Ocean Islands continue to be an area that challenges Adventist mission to this day. That was This Week in Seventh-day Adventist history.
Thanks for watching ANN. Join us next week for more news from the headquarters of the Seventh-day Adventist Church.
Today, we'd like to especially thank the Adventist Development and Relief Agency, Adventist Help, and all our communication directors for their hard work putting together the stories you've seen today on ANN Video.
We believe God has called us to love one another, to help those who are struggling, and the strangers in our gates.
Remember, if you have a story idea or just want to reach out to us, you can send us an email at annvideo11@gmail.com.
Before we say goodbye, here's some good news from the book of Nehemiah, chapter 1, verse 5.
The passage says, "Then I said, Lord, the God of heaven, the great and awesome God, who keeps his covenant of love with those who love him and keeps his commandments."
That's our program for this week. And remember, you can always visit news.adventist.org for daily news and videos. Until next time, God bless.
Take care.